Prostitution is not an alternative to working hard as a lady.
Hello, welcome to Noble Life TV with Lily Calvin, and today we're going to be looking at a topic: incessant killing of sex workers. Now, we all know that the incessant killing of sex workers is actually on the rise. These are ladies that go for what is normally called a hookup, and they end up being dead or they end up being maltreated. Now, is this really good for our society? Yes, we are not to judge because we never can tell what made these ladies take such act as or take such trade as a very comfortable trade. But in as much as they find themselves in such situation, is it enough reason for the men, or is it enough reason for their customers to kill these ladies brutally or even cause more harm to them than it already is? Because that job, I would say, is a very dangerous one. So, but is it good for their customers or for people, or I would say clients? Is it good for them to perpetrate more harm to these girls who are actually trying to make ends meet? Now, I have Mr. Augustine Omilo here with me today, and we're going to be talking about this topic. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
It's a very good one, and I like the word clients instead of customers.
Yeah.
They provide services.
Yeah, fine. So we know that this act is actually on the rise. Sometimes we wake up and we hear stories of girls being murdered at different points, like hotels, bear parlors, or even on the road. Now, would you say this act on these girls is actually good and yes, to be applauded or justifiable? Yes.
Well, let me start by saying that it's not even only the girls that are killed. We have had cases of men, responsible men, highly placed individuals, go to hotels and we hear they slumped and died, and maybe they call guests, as it were, even run away, leaving the corpse there. And it takes days or weeks for the hoteliers to even discover that somebody have died in their hotels. So, apart from the guests that are killed on a regular basis by these clients, the men also, some of them die as a result of these acts. Going to the hotel with guests that you don't know their background, and you go to a hotel with men that you don't know their background. It's dangerous for guests. And no matter the reasons for doing that, no amount of reasons can justify that risk that guests take to get involved in these matters.
Okay, you said most guys they also fall victim. Yes, I understand, but in some cases, or it's in rare cases that we hear that guys loses one part of their body, but in the case of the ladies, they lose some vital parts of their body. So would you say this is actually okay? Should the government actually let this slide? Because when it comes to a call girl being killed, we tend to see that the government doesn't really take concern about it. They don't take keen interest to fish out the perpetrators, And some persons would say, oh, is it because she's a call girl? Is that why you're not taking her case serious? Or should it be like that? Don't you think equal? Because if it were to be the male gender that such things happen to, I know things would have been going on. People would have been speaking. Protests would have taken place. Remember the case of somebody, what was that, in Lagos, that was killed by a lady, and we saw the way the case was being dragged in court every now and then. Now, could it be because the man is well known? Is that why it's like that? What about the girls that have nobody to speak for them? Who speaks for them? So is it right? Should the government actually let such cases slide?
Yeah, you see, the law guiding the activities in the country, or any country for that matter, is binding on everyone, whether you're a man or you're a woman. Now, what happens is that if this is that happen to guests are properly reported, government agencies like the security agencies like police would take up the matter.
Yes.
But unfortunately, some of these guests, because it's a shameful act, when you are leaving your home, you don't tell your parents where you are going to. Neither do you even tell your closest friends, your associates. Some of them, like you see somebody who's a student of maybe University of Lagos, coming from all the way from Lagos to maybe places like Asaba to hide and perpetrate this kind of activities. So your whereabouts is not known. So sometimes when it happens, it takes the grace of God for people to even trace the person before they can even say they are reporting to the police or something. That is the major problem on the side of the guests. But for the men, it is easier for them to get the men because you have a wife, you have children, and the woman after one day or so, without seeing the husband, can raise alarm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, but these girls are, some of them are students.
Yeah.
Now the question is the government always responsible for actions or inactions along this line? The answer is no, because once there is a law put in place and there is a case along this line, it should be reported properly. Once it's reported to the police and arrests are made, it behoves on the police and the agencies, law agencies now, to prosecute whoever is involved. And when it happens, I don't think anybody will discriminate whether it's a girl that is dead or a man that is dead. But let the case be reported first.
Okay. Let the case be reported first. I agree with you. Now, on that note, brings me to another question. How can it be curbed? Because we are tired of coming out every day from our houses and seeing corpses lying all over the floor. We're tired of hearing on the net or on social media that this lady has been killed in this hotel.
Yeah.
We are really tired of losing the female folks to such evil acts. How can it be curbed?
Yes, continuous education.
Okay, before you go further, especially on the path of these hotels, the management of the hotels.
So the girl child has to be properly brought up. When I say a girl child has to be properly brought up, it doesn't have to be the parents only. Because I know one man, Pastor Chris Oyakilome, PhD, he keeps on saying that every child is your child. Yeah. So if you encounter any little girl that is trying to misbehave, talk to her. Prostitution is not an alternative to working hard as a lady. As of today, we have about 10 professors, women, who are vice chancellors in Nigeria. And therefore, you cannot downgrade yourself to the point where you think you cannot become a vice chancellor in Nigeria. You must all the time find out somebody in your society, a role model that you can take after. Because not all women are sex workers. And if women are vice chancellors in Nigeria, for example, you should not be the one that will exempt yourself from that noble success mantra. Okay. You can see that whatever it is, if you struggle, if you work hard, you can also be a vice chancellor and any other thing that a woman can be in this country.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Augustino Milo. Yeah, look for something meaningful to do. You mustn't really go the other way just because you want to make ends meet. Who knows, that way might be very rough and dangerous for you. Because Mr. A plied that way and was successful doesn't mean you, Mr. B, can also apply that way and be successful. Look for something meaningful to do. Get skills, get entangled with skills acquisition. There are so many. Get entangled with hard work. Handwork. You can use your hands to do something. And please, for those out there, when you see a lady or when you see a girl, take her as your sister. Take her as your daughter. Because you never can tell. Every girl out there is your family member. So please take precaution and stay safe. And that's all on healing of sex workers. Lily Kelvin is my name. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Noble TV Live.